Manchester City, of course, in their sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks. George Boateng as Borough attack the south stand end in the first half as we look at it from left to right in the west stand at the Riverside Stadium. Tunjai infield to George Boateng again. A little touch for Fabio Rockenbach. Is today the last we'll see of him in the Borough midfield. Sweeps it out to Emmanuel Pogatetz, then Arca. Decent football being played, but Alves can't control it, and Richard Dunn is across there, the City captain, to clear it away.
That was much better from Alves, Paul. The ball came in deep from Julio Arca, and Richard Dunn was favourite to get on the end of that, but Alves shot across him, got a touch on the ball, then harried him as the defender looked to clear, and that's why he couldn't get any distance on the clearance, and we got the throw-in.
City with Chorluka, and there's Benjani goes down to the ground, and free kick is given to City. Julio Arca doing the fouling on the halfway line.
I think we'll be looking for a lot more in the terms of work rate next season from Alves, now that he's had a good look at the Premiership. Scoring goals, great. You can see he's a goal scorer, but he can add more to his game by that work rate, doing a little bit of defensive stuff for his side, you know, in the final third when they've got the ball defensively.
BBC T is the only place for Borough commentary, and Manchester City have the ball. Left-hand side, ball forward from Garrido up towards Benjani, but there's Chris Riggott to head clear, and then Chris Riggott again, this time with the right foot gets it away. Tunjai can't control it. Richard Dunn sends it forward up towards Darius Vassell. Been around a lot of years now, Vassell, with Aston Villa and Manchester City, of course, and he scored 6 goals this season. Petrov finds Michael Ball as Manchester City are just content to play it around, in and around that centre circle inside their own half. Gelson Fernandez back to Ball again, and here's Garrido once more. Petrov with a left-footed ball forward. Looks like a good one as well, shot from Benjani from the knockdown from Vassell, and it went harmlessly wide of Schwartz's right-hand post.
Well, I think Emmanuel Pogatetz played everybody on there when David Wheater was looking for the offside. His hand came up, and there was a misunderstanding with that defensive line there at the back for us. Emmanuel Pogatetz went with Darius Vassell. I think David Wheater, Chris Riggott and Luke Young had already stepped, thinking that the player was going to run into an offside position. The ball eventually went to Benjani. Had he taken a touch ball and went closer towards goal, he'd have had a real chance of scoring.
There's Garrido heading it forward up towards Benjani, beaten in the air by David Wheater, who's presented with countless Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year trophies and awards in the build-up to kick-off. The official Borough Supporters Club Young Player of the Year, Stuart Downing the Player of the Year. They were at the do here at the Riverside in midweek. BBC T's and goalless here. Borough against Manchester City, 3 minutes gone. Sun Ji Hai hits it on the volley back to his goalkeeper Andreas Isaacson, and now it's out for Richard Dunn again. Republic of Ireland international. Dunn with a right-footed long ball looking for Benjani. It's over his head and through to Mark Schwarzer. Some early thoughts from pitch side. Here's Mark.
The early thoughts from pitch side are that the Manchester City fans have just come to sing at Sven. They've been singing to the tune of Pink Floyd's Off the Wall. They've been singing, hey Taksin, leave our Sven alone. Foul given against Tunjai there for nothing. And Sven-Göran Eriksson, repeated chance. He's been up twice to applaud them, and he's picked an interesting side, hasn't he? We've got Michael Ball as a centre-back. He's never played there, to my knowledge, so that's a bit of a sack-me sort of line-up, isn't it? Interesting.
Well, the Manchester City fans marched on Eastlands yesterday and presented a petition with 14,000 odd names on it to save Sven, which isn't the easiest thing to say at all. Here's Tunjai, brings it under control left-hand side. He's a popular man. Rockenbach, square ball for George Boateng. Boateng tries to get it out to Luke Young, but it's intercepted by Garrido along this left-hand side. Midway inside the Borough half, goalless at the Riverside. Benjani, goalless everywhere else so far in the Premier League this afternoon. Crucial afternoon. Benjani's gone down as if he's been shot or something there.
Well, that was quite funny, actually, because Fabio Rockenbach went in very strongly. Benjani's first touch was loose and allowed Fabio the chance to make a real strong challenge. And actually, Fabio did follow through and didn't need to, and he sort of caught Benjani, but there was a delayed reaction as if he had been shot there. Benjani, he's still on the floor now. I don't know if it wanted all that. You would ask the question, though, why is Fabio going in like that?
Yeah.
Because it's only going to get yourself into bother.
I mean, If Benjani was any lighter, he would have put him into the crowd, wouldn't he? He didn't half welly him.
I don't think he needs to make the challenge like that. That's first and foremost. I don't think he caught him properly, because if he had caught him properly, Paul, he would have been in the crowd. He really would have done. So I think Benjani's making a little bit of it. But you just say to Fabio, why have you done that?
Well, with Fabio, you say why so many times, don't you, throughout the course of a season? You really do.
Throughout the course of a game. Hey, and you can also say, hey, that was magnificent. In the same breath, that's Fabio for you, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
If we talk about our season being up and down, try 90 minutes of Fabio.
Yeah. Try being him. Must be scary inside his head. It's still 0-0 here. And Benjani's continuing to receive some treatment. There's still 0-0 everywhere else as well, by the way. 6 minutes gone. Sven was up on his feet there just a short while ago, expressing his concern at Benjani's plight. It's going to be a throw-in to Manchester City when things do get underway again. So 0-0, 0-0 everywhere else as well. So as things stand, Birmingham down and Reading down, and Manchester United the champions. There's a long way to go yet. Throw-in is taken as Benjani gets off the field, and the ball has gone out of play again, and Garrido will take it from midway inside the Borough half. He takes it back to Michael Ball. Ball across the back to his central defensive partner Richard Dunn, and it goes to Sun Ji Hai. Bit of a hospital ball that Gelson Fernandez can't quite get a hold of, and Tunjai fouled there, and the free kick is given. Phil Dowd's the referee. Chorluka it was on Tunjai, just in that midfield area. Phil Dowd from Stoke on Trent, and Borough have a free kick towards the left-hand side. That man Fabio Rockenbach is on it again. He's just having a little stare up towards the penalty area to see what's on. Floats his free kick in towards the head of Alves. Might drop to George Boateng. It's a corner because it took a deflection. Diving deflection from Richard Dunn doing the defending. He
did really well there, Richard Dunn. It was a good knock-in, wasn't it? Only half cleared. I think it came back off somebody, off Richard Dunn actually, the headed clearance initially there. But Richard Dunn made amends for that, just shooting across there to block the attempt from George Boateng. He was only about 8 or 9 yards out there, George. It set up perfectly for him to hit it as well, so their defender did well to get something on that and direct it out for a corner. We're still waiting for the ball here.
First corner, and I don't think the Manchester City fans want to give the ball back. Fabio Rockenbach's waiting for it. It's over on the far side. Sun Ji Hai doing the retrieval work. It's the first corner of the match with 8 minutes gone and 0-0 the score. Rockenbach in front of those 3,000-odd Manchester City fans to take this corner. It's a weird corner. Alves misses his kick completely. And Arca! Oh, I thought Arca had curled that one in. It just sat up nicely for him, rolled along the ground after a comedy of errors, really. And Arca nearly opened the scoring.
You know what, Paul? I'm going to have to tell you, right, that
it was
corner,
intentional.
That corner is meant. And I'll tell you why I know it is, because I know Steve Agnew does that with the reserves. That was actually meant, and that's a brilliant corner kick, because it would throw everybody if you didn't know that, and I happen to know that it was. And the attempt in the end from Arca was a peach, wasn't it? Just wide of the mark. But I know what you're saying, because it looked shambolic, but that was all, believe it or not, meant, and that was really quite well worked.
It was a bit like, James Beattie and Sheffield United when
that's the one
in the FA Cup.
That collision, and everyone's like kicking off with each other because it's all gone wrong, but that was meant.
Alves claims a handball against him, not given. Rockenbach nutmegs Stephen Ireland and then feeds Stuart Downing, who's on this right-hand side for the time being. 0-0. Downing's left-footed ball, it's a teaser, Tunjai's there, it's not cleared yet, it is now. Michael Ball hooks clear.
Hey, great ball in. Right-hand side, Stewie Downing, who else? Player of the season, rightly so. On his left foot, great ball in. If Tunjai could have got the slightest hint of a touch with that quiff of his, it would have been in the back of the net.
George Boateng again, right-hand side. Borough on the attack here, having a good spell, and Boateng's won them another corner. Tackled by Garrido down there. And the ball rolls out just near the BBCT's advertising hoarding in front of those Manchester City fans. And it'll be another corner. This is the 121st meeting between these sides in the league. Downing's corner, left-footed. Too much on it. Chris Riggott tries to keep it in but fails. It's out for a goal kick. Borough 146 and Manchester City 47 in that time. 27 draws. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0. First goal this afternoon in the Premier League for Norberto Solano. Let's go down to pitch side and Mark.
Going to see a change. Nery Castillo, Mexican international. He will be coming on very shortly. I imagine that's for Benjani. I think we might have been a bit harsh on him, you know. He did get a knee in the pectoral muscle from Fabio Rockenbach. It was, as you rightly said, a ridiculous challenge. But that corner a couple of minutes ago, not the one from Downing just now, the one before that from Rockenbach, the Borough bench really enjoyed it. And Gary's right, they did mean it. And there were big smiles down here and just rueful shakes of the head that it didn't quite come off. But Castillo will be coming on very, very shortly for Man City.
This is BBC Tees and Pogatet's on the ball inside the Borough's half of the field. David Wheater brings the ball forward, but his attempted pass is cut out. And now Manchester City again, 0-0 at the Riverside. Benjani heads edge of the box. Doesn't look interested at all, Benjani, does he, after that little kick from Fabio Rockenbach? And Stuart Downing's desperately trying to keep the ball in far side. Doesn't manage it. City throw-in.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to keep the tempo high. As I said, decent atmosphere at the Riverside. Man City fans making a lot of noise, you know, and making and adding to the atmosphere here. But we've had a decent spell there, Paul. I think their sub's going to happen very, very quickly. And I think Stewie's right to get a hold of the ball, get the ball back in play quickly, because that tempo suits us.
Sun Ji-hai takes the throw-in, gets it back from Vassell. Richard Dunn turns and goes back to his keeper, who's standing just outside of the 18-yard box. Pitch looks in excellent condition, as Mark was describing in the build-up to kick-off down there. And Michael Ball, left-footed and forward, into the possession of Chris Riggott. Little tap back from Rockenbach to Luke Young. Now Boateng to Rockenbach again. Almost played the killer ball through for Afonso Alves there. And Stephen Ireland can't keep it in now. Borough throwing.
I'm laughing, Paul, because that attempt from Fabio Rockenbach, had it come off, was pass of the season, wasn't it? He could have delivered a different style of ball there. He could have taken a touch, but instead he's went for outside of his right foot.
And there's the change, Mark.
It is, and it's the one we expected. Nery Castillo on, Benjani, Mawadawari off, and straight down the tunnel, the Zimbabwean.
It's Chris Riggott on the ball now, and back for Mark Schwarzer, who's seen very little of the ball in the opening 12.5 minutes, because all the play has been at the other end, which is rather pleasing to see. On this last day of the Premier League season, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0 at Upton Park. Norberto Solano, the only goal we have so far to tell you about. The ball is with Isaacson in the Manchester City goal.
I'm just wondering why Elano's not playing for them, Paul. I'm delighted he's not, actually, because start of this season, first half of the season, he was brilliant. He's got a couple of goals against us in the corresponding fixture down there. I think one of them was a fantastic shot outside the box. One a really good player, but him not starting today, he's got 9 for the season. That's useful.
Throw into City on the halfway line. Stephen Ireland has it back for Richard Dunn. They don't seem in any rush at all, Manchester City, to get forward. Just happy playing the ball about inside their own half, or they were, until Dunn just planted it into touch.
But you know, Paul, that's Sven's kind of side. He did that with England, and looked to keep the ball and pass it around deep, and then look for killer balls quite direct for the pace of Michael Owen when he was playing for England. Manchester City early on this season, they played exactly the same way as this, quite content to keep possession of the ball until the opportunity arose to deliver forward long quickly and cause you problems, and they did that earlier on the season at their place.
Here's David Wheater across the back for Chris Riggott. 0-0 at the Riverside. BBC Tees. Riggott's long ball forward. Here's Tunjai. Tunjai was took back, and that's a penalty. And it could be a sending off as well, because Richard Dunn took Tunjai back. He was clean through, and Richard Dunn has been shown a straight red card. The Manchester City captain's season ends early. He is sent off. Borough have a penalty.
You know the thing about it as well, Paul, he doesn't need to make the challenge, because the ball from Chris Riggott is brilliant, right over the top of Richard Dunn, who's fallen asleep. Tunjai's first touch has actually not been a good one. The ball's got away from him. I'm not so sure he would have gone on the end of it, because Isaacson was looking to do some defensive work for Man City, the goalkeeper, and then Richard Dunn has actually committed the foul. He is last man, he has to go. It's definitely a penalty. He'd be kicking himself, because first of all, he fell asleep when the ball was delivered over his head from Chris Riggott. We aren't complaining.
Not at all, because Borough don't get many penalties. Stuart Downing scored one against Arsenal earlier in the season at the same end. in front of the Manchester City fans as Phil Dowd blows his whistle. Downing left-footed, and Stuart Downing edges ahead in the leading scorer stakes for the season. 9 he's got now, left-footed, superb penalty. The advantage goes to the Borough, they lead 1-0.
Well, he was never going to miss. Stewie Downing, player of the season, absolute top quality footballer that he is, and he's in a competition with Tuncay because he wants to be top scorer. And funny enough, his corner kick last week gave Tuncay the chance to get level with him on 8 goals. Has he got 8 goals, Tuncay?
Yep.
I think so. 8 goals for the season. And in the commentary or the interview after the game, Stewie was obviously delighted he'd scored, but said it's about time Tuncay set me up. Well, he's sort of done that today.
Manchester City have got a free kick inside their own half. It's Derby 0, Reading 1 elsewhere, and that is James Harper, and that is a crucial goal because it takes Reading out of the relegation zone for the time being. James Harper scores for Reading. Derby 0, Reading 1, here Borough 1, Manchester City 0, Stuart Downing's penalty.
Well, now you've got your noses in front. They're down to 10 men. Influential player as well, Richard Dunn, Paul. They've got Michael Ball playing at centre-half with Shaw Luca now. Now, Michael Ball isn't the biggest. Richard Dunn, a big presence from the back. You're 1-0 in front. I'll be really disappointed. Really, really disappointed, Paul, that we don't go on to win this game comfortably now.
Isaacson kicks out right-footed for Manchester City, on the lookout for a way back into this match. The 10 men. Richard Dunn sent off. Luke Young hits it forward towards Tuncay and chest down for Alves. Alves loses possession. City again coming forward. Petrov, left-hand side. Petrov gets it back, and then a bit of a dodgy back pass. But Garrido's going to get it back to Isaacson, is he? Just. Tuncay closing him down. Clearance up to halfway line. Stephen Ireland heads out. Let's go downstairs. Mark.
Did you see in the celebrations Tuncay and Stuart Downing? And Tuncay was just laughing at him because he knows he's inched ahead again in the race. And Downing signalled across to Gareth Southgate, one more, because the Borough manager said in the programme today, I've set him the target of getting 2 today and making it 10 for the season, because that would be some achievement and it will cap off the fine season he's had. Sven-Göran Eriksson, by the way, well, the world's against him, isn't it? He just stood up when the red card went out, looked at the 4th official, Nigel Miller, just shook his head and sat down again. I think he's just about had enough.
18 minutes gone at the Riverside. Borough 1, Manchester City 0 in the Premier League. Derby 0, Reading 1 at Pride Park. Here's Stephen Ireland for Manchester City as they come forward towards the edge of the area. Pogatetz with a good tackle before Vassell can get to it. And West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Ashley Young has equalised for Villa. So Reading escaping as things stand. Birmingham, Fulham going down. Ireland cross, gets loads of flight on the cross. It's not going to go out. Martin Petrov shielding the ball from Luke Young, but good work from Luke Young. 300th career start for him today in club football. Manchester City attack. Cross from the left-hand side, but Garrido is headed out, and then George Boateng puts it further out for another City throw-in on this left-hand side. Michael Ball. Ball to Cho Luca, drop back from the midfield to take the place of Richard Dunn in that Manchester City back 4. City on the attack though at the other end. Vassell's made a run into the penalty area. Luke Young, safety first, puts it out.
Well, they're having a bit of a go, Paul. They're obviously unhappy with the way that the goal's been conceded, Manchester City, and they're looking because they know that they need to get back into the game quickly, and that's what they're trying to do, get back into this match as quickly as possible. And we just got to weather this little bit of a storm with them having a bit of possession, and once we get the ball, Paul, we've got an extra player on the pitch, make sure that we're patient with our passing.
Vassell, Tuncay attempted to intercept. Gelson Fernandez though instead. Stephen Ireland, back to Fernandez, shot right-footed, edge of the area. Decent effort, good save from Mark Schwartz.
Actually, it's good football. That's a terrible throw from Schwartz.
That was a rash challenge from Emmanuel Pogatetz as well on Sunji High. And the Manchester City fans are calling for a red card, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a booking, and City have a throw-in, but all from a poor throw-out, putting Borough under pressure.
It was a good move from them before that as well. Stephen Ireland at the heart of it, finished with the shot from Fernandes, I think it was, edge of the box. Simple save really from Mark Schwarzer. And Schwarzer just rolled the ball out to Emmanuel Pogatetz when he didn't really need to, forcing Pogatetz into a challenge on Sun Ji-hai, I think it was, wasn't it? And well, now he's an opportunity. Martin Petrov, 22 yards out, right-hand side of the box with that trusty left foot of his. He's been a fantastic signing for them this season, Martin Petrov.
What's he thinking of there, Schwarzer? Free kick for Manchester City, their best opportunity in the match so far. 21 minutes gone. It's Borough 1, City 0. Phil Dowd gets the Borough wall back. George Boateng runs to join it. Left-footed Petrov over the top and into the Borough fans behind the goal.
Always high and always wide of the target. Martin Petrov's effort there. Mark Schwarzer, to be fair to him, did apologise to Emmanuel Pogatetz after that little incident, and he's trying to get the game running quickly. His distribution recently has been very good from his hands, but on that occasion there, it was a casual kind of roll ball out to Emmanuel Pogatetz that really could have put us in bother.
Schwarzer's kick out from the ground, headed on by Tunjai towards Alves, but Alves' foot was a little bit high there, and so Manchester City have a free kick.
I think you'll see that an awful lot more in this game as well. You can just, from Mark Schwarzer or from any of our defenders, just hang the ball up in the area, Michael Ball, and allow Alves to challenge with him, or Tunjai, as he did on that occasion, and you feel like our strikers will win the ball in the air and get flick-ons.
Free kick then to be taken by Andreas Isaacson for Manchester City. Right-footed into the Borough half of the field towards the edge of the penalty area. Headed out by Wheater, back from Sun Ji-hai. Stephen Ireland to Sun Ji-hai again. Now Fernandes over the top and to the left-hand side. And Javier Garrido down this left to Petrov. Petrov to the edge of the box. Stephen Ireland missed his kick completely. Now that was a comedy moment.
That was...
he didn't mean that.
That wasn't very good, was it? It was a great move though, wasn't it? Again, starting down this left-hand side. I thought Martin Petrov, I thought he'd lost control of the ball, but such pace to recover. Lovely little ball into Stephen Ireland. He's slung his left foot at it. He nearly lost his left foot as well because he was that far away from the ball. Got a lot of flack of our fans. Would have enjoyed that.
Fabio Rockenbach fouling Petrov. Free kick to City.
To be fair to them, Paul, they're still having a go, aren't they? Yeah. You know, they're 1-0 behind. They know that as this game settles again, that we're going to see an awful lot of the ball, or that's what you'd expect, and the chances are we might get in a second. So they know that they need to get back in this game quickly, and to be fair to them, they're having a go.
Petrov's having a go at the ref, which is incurring a bit of a lecture in return. BBC Tees, 95 FM and DAB digital radio, the only place for Borough commentary. Stephen Ireland, as City take this free kick. Ireland has it back, his options to his right are limited. Sun Ji-hai it is. Now it's to the other substitute, Castillo, the only substitute so far rather. Came on for Benjani early on after he'd taken a kick from Fabio Rockenbach. Pogatetz was booked for that rash tackle earlier on. And then Tunjai gets a free kick on the halfway line to the Borough. Back down to pitch side and Mark.
Tunjai's a key man at the moment. They've been trying to get him further up the pitch to buzz around Alves. Alves is the man who sticks up there, and Tunjai, as is his way, drops steep, and they're just trying to get him to spin off Alves, because Alves won a couple in the air, as is Tunjai, and I think they fancy the chances of getting Tunjai in for a couple here. Good play from George Boateng there, infield to Rockenbach.
Boateng's having a superb game so far this afternoon, the right-hand side of the Borough midfield. That move just broke down a little bit, however, and who else but George Boateng across near the centre circle to attempt to win it back. It doesn't quite come off for him, but then he's gifted with a ball from Vassell. Alves inside his own half towards the right-hand side. 1-0 to the Borough. Alves again feeds Luke Young, who's just slightly ahead of him. Luke Young tries to eke it down the line, but it goes out off Garrido for a Borough throw-in.
Some good short passing there. Fabio Rockenbach pulling the strings. Just before that, you know, Paul, he's went for a killer ball. We've just said you've got an extra body on the pitch. You can be patient with your passing. Instead of banging the ball out to Emmanuel Pogatetz, totally unmarked, he's gone for the killer ball, which wasn't the right option. But after that, some good passing.
Pogatetz is on the attack left-hand side, but doesn't quite come off as everybody intended. Julio Arca's picked up the ball now, however. Arca's been quiet this afternoon, and he gives the ball away. And City on the break here, but have three men back to City's two forward, and Luke Young I was about to say excellent tackle, and Phil Dowd gives a free kick.
Well, and now he's a bucket as well. I think a bit of dissent from Luke Young, obviously not happy with the fact that, first of all, the free kick was given, which I think was really, really harsh. Martin Petrov bearing down on Luke Young. Fearsome, really, he's so quick, Petrov, but Luke Young just stood his ground and went in with the challenge, and I think his feet did come up in the air after the initial challenge. Having said that, I've just seen a replay, and I think Mr. Petrov might have to check his nether regions to make sure they're all there.
Yeah.
Because that foot was a little bit high, but hey, still think the referee got it wrong.
Benefit of replays are fantastic, isn't it? It's what the referee doesn't have, in fairness to him.
No, in fairness to him. But do you know, I think what angered Luke Young and angered the crowd and maybe caught us napping a little bit there, Paul, was the sort of delayed reaction from the referee, as if he was reacting to Petrov staying on the deck, not the initial incident, which he probably didn't see. I don't know, but he's still on the floor and he's just checking to see everything's all right. Asking the referee now as well, Martin Petrov.
I think he's getting a second opinion because he's tried to count them, not had much luck. He's asking everybody else. It'll be a free kick to Manchester City, who trail by a goal to nil. Stuart Downing's penalty, 16 minutes. Richard Dunoff, professional foul on Tunjai. Martin Petrov's coming across to the left, where I think the physio's going to... well, I don't know what he's going to do anyway. We're going to take the free kick. Interesting to watch. Here's a free kick into the box. Header down by Michael Ball. Vassell is there. Overhead kick and wide.
There's half a chance. The ball came into Michael Ball at the back post. He headed it back across the box for the substitute Castillo. Castillo just headed it back, popped it back into that area around about the penalty spot. Vassell got caught in two minds. He could have taken a chest and volleyed left foot. Instead, he went for an acrobatic finish and made a complete hash of it. But Man City still in the game, even though we're leading 1-0 and they're down to 10 men. And it'll stay that way, Paul, as long as we allow them to have the ball. It's just important when we get the ball that we're a little bit more patient with our passing and use the fact that we've got an extra body.
Alves to Arca, edge of the box, shot from Arca over the top. Not too many goals around this afternoon. Nervous final afternoon of Premier League football for the season. Birmingham 0, Blackburn 0, Chelsea 0, Bolton 0, Derby 0, Reading 1, James Harper, Everton 0, Newcastle 0, Portsmouth 0, Fulham 0, Sunderland 0, Arsenal 1. Theo Walcott has just given Arsenal the lead at the Stadium of Light. Spurs 0, Liverpool 0, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, and Wigan 0, Manchester United 0. All of which means, as we stand here 28 minutes into all the games roughly, Manchester United champions, and Derby, Birmingham and Fulham relegated. Reading's goal at Derby meaning they would stay up. Pogatetz. There'll be an awful lot of more twists and turns to come between now and 10 to 5, however, on this Sunday afternoon. Riggett back to Schwarzer. It's 1-0 to the Borough here, thanks to Stuart Downing's 16th minute penalty. Julio Arca picks the ball up deep inside his own half, comes towards halfway, and George Boateng helps it out to Luke Young, one of two Borough players booked so far. Luke Young's cross comes off the back of Garrido, and for Borough's third corner of the match.
He started the game really well again, hasn't he? George Boateng playing down that right-hand side, playing quite narrow when he needs to, because obviously he hasn't got the pace to go around the back and the side of defenders. But lovely little player there just to release Luke Young, who loves to get forward himself. And Luke Young, the ball in would have been decent had it not been blocked by a defender.
So Stuart Downing is across. 9 goals for the season, top scorer to take this corner. Left-footed into the box, it's all over the place, and Tunjai, if he'd have got anything on it, would have gone in.
Hey, that's a great ball near your stick. It's great movement as well, Paul. Did you see how big that hole appeared to be after the movement, after we'd managed to take defenders out of that near post area because of the movement of our players, Paul? Great ball in from Stewie Downing, and you're right, just the slightest touch and that would have been number 2.
BBC Tees, 95 FM, DAB, digital radio, the only place for Borough commentary. Stephen Ireland towards Petrov, who's in the centre circle. Flicks the ball with the outside of his left boot to Garrido, but he's offside. Down to Mark at pitch side.
And did you see a few minutes ago it was Luke Young who was bombing forward and getting the crossing, which led to the corner, and that's something that Gareth Southgate has just been out saying, get those full-backs, Pogatetz and Young, get them further forward and get Manchester City on the back foot, because I've said it time and again in the past, who has the most possession of a ball in a football match? It's the full-backs. They're the key really a lot of the time, and Luke Young, when he gets forward, has good delivery. Poor old Martin Petrov, by the way, they administered the magic spray on him.
I wonder if it works. The ball is out for a goal kick before Tuncay can get to it. Petrov appears to have recovered from that blow, and it'll be a goal kick to Manchester City. It's the most ridiculous weather because it was sunny when we were driving in, and then it's misty. You can't see the hills, you can't see any of the industry. At 27,617 is the attendance here today. But it's misty and it's cold, isn't it?
Sea fret, Paul, and it's making me fret. Freezing, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Like I said, I left my house this morning, well, not that long ago. Seems like a long time ago, it's that cold, but not that long ago, and it was glorious sunshine. I think the wind's changed direction, bit of sea fret coming in off there, and it has made things cold. But the football's been decent, hasn't it? So the fans have been enjoying that.
Manchester City make a hash of things down the right-hand side, and Borough have a throw-in. They lead 1-0 as well. Manuel Pogatetz going to take the throw-in, just inching a few extra yards up that left-hand touchline before he throws it in towards Tuncay. Little flick from him, but Alves didn't read. Michael Ball has it for City. Halfway line with Martin Petrov. Then Fernandes through the centre. He was looking for the run down the right-hand side, but it wasn't forthcoming from Vassell, and Fernandes was a little bit annoyed with him. Everton 1, Newcastle 0 at Goodison Park. Yakubu, 20th goal of the season for Yakubu. And Birmingham 1, Blackburn 0. David Murphy, the former Borough player, has scored for Birmingham. And Manchester United are 1-0 up at Wigan. Cristiano Ronaldo with the penalty. And that is his 41st goal of the season. Manchester United looking good for the title. Wigan 0, Manchester United 1, a glut of goals elsewhere. A Ronaldo penalty. 1-0 to the Borough here, with Tuncay on the ball through to Alves, just stumbled a little bit. And Manchester City tidy things up at the back and clear towards the halfway line, where George Boateng wins it back. Luke Young chips forward, Alves again, he's beaten in the air by Michael Ball, that shouldn't happen. Fernandes, little dummy from Julio Walker, wrong foots the Manchester City man. There's Riggett out to Luke Young again. Young forward to Tuncay, who is fouling Michael Ball.
Well, the linesman's flag didn't come up, Paul, and that's what Tuncay is saying. The linesman stood right in front of that, and it wasn't a free kick, it wasn't. Well, it is because it's been given, but it wasn't. And the referee's a long, long way away from it. He's decided to give the free kick, and the linesman's actually looking at it 10 yards away, can't see anything to give there. So I agree with Tuncay. Why the linesman hasn't put his flag up, because it wasn't a free kick and it shouldn't have been given.
Free kick is taken, nevertheless, right-footed onto the chest of Emmanuel Pogatetz. Fernandes gets in there. There's Ireland, ball through to the penalty area, and Mark Schwarzer goes to the left of his penalty area to collect it. Let's go back down a pitch side, Mark.
And Emmanuel Pogatetz is getting some stick. Colin Cooper says, what's he doing? Trying to chest it down in the middle of the pitch. Tell him to start playing properly. There's a bit of a lull, isn't there, from a Borough point of view at the moment, and that's why Colin Cooper is now barking out the orders, and Fabio Rockenbach heading it straight out into touch. They're getting sloppy, aren't they, at the moment, Borough, and they need to just up it a little bit. And you mentioned Afonso Alves getting beaten in the air by Michael Ball. I mean, that's just symptomatic at the moment, isn't it? They need to raise the tempo again and really get about City, because they're going to fold, aren't they? Down to 10 men for so long in the game, they're not really bothered.
Isaacson's clearance under the chest again of Emmanuel Pogatetz, who manages to control it properly this time. Stuart Downing being harried by Sun Ji Hai down there, does brilliantly well to find Julio Walker. Back to Downing once again. Dummy from Tuncay, puts Rockenbach in, edge of the box. Back to Tuncay again. Tuncay chances for a shot. There's some defending done back there by Vassell. I think it's a corner.
Build-up's brilliant. Stewie down the left, flips the ball inside for Fabio Rockenbach. A little dummy, I think, from Tuncay initially. That allowed Fabio to get on the ball, and some great little passing in and around that box. You have to say, though, it's a position where you could finish it with a shot.
Rockenbach's corner. Good take by the Manchester City keeper, Isaacson. Under a bit of pressure, managed to hold on to the ball. Now Castillo to Fernandez. Petrov, City attacking with purpose through Borough's centre at the moment. Right-hand side, Stephen Ireland. 1-0 to the Borough, the score, with 10 minutes to go to half-time. Fernandez. And Petrov. Petrov is harried out of it by a mixture of Boateng and Rockenbach. Tunjai turns full circle inside his own half, just dwells on it a little bit too long. It's definitely a poor spell this for the Borough at the moment. Castillo on the right-hand side. Infield again to Gelson Fernandez. Now Garrido left. Afonso Alves back, making a tackle of sorts. And then Luke Young puts it out for a Manchester City throw-in.
Yeah, he's just sweeping up behind. A good play from Alves to put their player under pressure. The ball popped out there to Luke Young, and he just, as he was sweeping up, his touch was a little bit too strong. He went out for a throw-in, and that was a shame because Afonso Alves was in an acre of space, and if he could have got hold of the ball, he'd have been attacking direct at the heart of their defence.
Fernandez gives it away in the midfield. Arca finds Rockenbach, and now Tunjai. Tunjai just holds up play, finds Rockenbach again, edge of the area, ghosting through. Alves! Afonso Alves with goal number 4 this season on the left foot from inside the area after good work from Tunjai, and also up there from Fabio Rockenbach. Excellent finish by Afonso Alves. That's what he's here for. Borough 2-0 up on Manchester City.
Well, you've just seen some of the best of Fabio Rockenbach, Paul. Ball played in it from Tunjai. The way he took the ball under pressure from two Man City players was a dream, was a delight. His awareness and his vision to pick out Alves and the way to the pass to Alves so he can finish first time is absolute perfection. And the finish from Afonso Alves, a real goal scorer's finish again. That is a great goal.
It's turning out to be an excellent afternoon here for the Borough. They're 2-0 up. 37 minutes gone on the clock. Michael Ball clears for Manchester City. Superb finish from Afonso Alves.
What about the play from Fabio? You know, we laugh and joke. We say good things about him, Paul, and rightly so, because he deserves it sometimes. We give him a bit of stick sometimes because he does crazy things on a football pitch. That piece of play from Fabio Rockenbach is right out of the top drawer. It's a great finish from Alves, but the play leading up to it is just absolutely brilliant.
For a free kick with Chris Riggott to David Wheater. Now to the left, and Emmanuel Pogatetz. We were hoping we'd see goals this afternoon, well, we're seeing 2 already. Stuart Downing skinning Sun Ji Hyde on the left and crosses into the box. There's nobody there. Back heel from Julio Arca almost put in Tunjai. And Martin Petrov's deep back inside his own penalty area defending. He's been harried by George Boateng. Great play by George Boateng. It's a Manchester City throw-in, but he just doesn't give anything up at all.
No, he's played really well in this first half, George. Fans really enjoying that bit of play. The fans here have always loved somebody who's prepared to roll the sleeves up and get about a football pitch, and George, throughout his career here on Teesside's done that.
He is the prime example. Wheater to Riggott. Riggott to Luke Young on this right-hand side is just inside the City half. It goes back to Chris Riggott again, and now Wheater.
Now, you know what? I'm going to be greedy here. I don't know if it is greedy or not, but I'm going to ask for it. What a chance today to score 3 for the first time.
The elusive 3.
I mean, come on. You're 2-0 up against 10 men, and a demotivated 10 men. It's got to be said right now after the sending off of Richard Dunn. The manager's going to get the bullets. Come on, boys. Let's get 3 to them.
Yeah. Tunjai. You'll never get a better chance, surely. Petrov. Cross to Sun Ji Hyde has been closed down by Stuart Downing. Rather cool to Cho Luca as Manchester City play their way out of trouble from the back, but it doesn't last long. Rockenbach's there. Rockenbach's been fouled by Fernandez. Free kick is taken quickly to Downing. His cross in is cut out by Cho Luca for a Borough throw-in.
Yeah, that free kick, Paul, it came about because we decided to press them right up the pitch. In fact, we were pressing, Stuart Downing was pressing Sunji high in their 18-yard box, and that was good. And they managed to play out, they did well to play out to around about the middle of their half, but eventually Fabio managed to get something on the ball. Fernandez gives them a free kick, and we played really quickly, and I think we should do that in the second half as well. Press a little bit higher up the pitch, put them under pressure, and really look to steamroll them out the game.
Chris Riggett's got a bit of a problem down there, Mark.
He has, I think it's his right foot. Do you remember a few minutes ago he got a free kick and there was a challenge from behind on him, and he got caught as he tried to play the ball, and I think he kicked the bottom of Neri Castillo's boot and basically got his studs on the top of his foot, and that, as anyone who's ever played football will tell you, will hurt, but it looks like he's going to be all right to continue. He's just about to return.
Just had a little word with the Borough physio Chris Mosley there, and Riggett's back onto the field now. In the meanwhile, Borough just played keep ball, and the ball went from one side to the other, being cheered every completed pass. That's some excellent stuff. Tunjai, right-hand side to George Boateng. Boateng for Fabio Rockenbach, instrumental in Alves' goal a couple of minutes ago, and almost played him in again there, the edge of the area. Might get another chance now. Luke Young on the right-hand side, gets his cross in. Keeper thought about coming for it, diving header over the top from Cho Luca for another corner.
Yeah, the defender did well because the ball, after a lovely bit of play, lovely passage of passing football there from Middlesbrough. That's how you play against 10 men, Paul. You're patient, you pass it around, you get them moved about, somebody switches off. As far as the opposition's concerned, you get your chance to punish them, and that ball in from Luke Young was really good. Shaw Luca did well to get his head on the ball because Stewie Downing had done ever so well to get across the defender and was looking to dispatch.
Corner number 5 from Fabio Rockenbach, flicked on there by Tunjai. He'll be kept in by Stuart Downing. Backheels it for George Boateng. He's got space and time to cross. That's the first foot George Boateng has put wrong all afternoon. What a rancid cross that was.
As soon as you said he's got space and time, I started getting nervous because George doesn't like space and time. He likes to get into people's faces and keep his passing instinctive and simple, and don't give him time and space, because that's what happens.
Borough 2, Manchester City 0. As the mist rolls in on the top of the East Stand here.
It's like the Hounds of the Baskervilles, isn't it?
Fog stop play we've got a danger of, maybe not really. It is pretty bad, however. Throw into Borough, left-hand side. And to bring you into the picture about what's happening elsewhere, Manchester City currently champions. They're 1-0 up on Wigan thanks to Ronaldo's penalty. Still Chelsea 0, Bolton 0 at Stamford Bridge. Birmingham are leading Blackburn by 1-0. Reading leading Derby by 1-0. But as things stand, it's Reading who'll stay up, and it's not good enough for Birmingham. They'll go down along with Fulham.
That wasn't far off. That deep ball there from Fabio inside our half, looking to release Alves. It was, about a foot over hit. Brilliant ball.
Wheater has some defending to do at the other end. Fabio Rockenbach stays down after he was caught, but Stuart Downing marauding and on the attack here, and Afonso Alves left-hand edge of the penalty area. Alves right-footed shot saved down to his right by Isaacson.
Well, Alves, he had options in front of him. Tunjai got in the box, Stewie had motored into the box, Julio Arca had motored into the box, and George Boateng arriving from that right-hand side towards the back post in the box. They may as well have forgotten it, because as soon as he picked up that ball, that's what a goal scorer he is. That's the kind of striker he is on that left-hand channel. He's coming in on his right foot and he's going to dispatch. Didn't get the power he was after, but as soon as he got it, you just see. I mean, I couldn't see his eyes light up because I'm too far away, but I can imagine he's going bang, he's a chance.
1.5 minutes of normal time left in the first half at the Riverside BBC Tees. Borough 2-0 up. We're on 95 FM and DAB digital radio. The ball is in the hands of Mark Schwarzer. Now Riggett up to Luke Young again on the right-hand side. Julio Walker's dropped deep to pick up Borough possession. Now leaves it for David Wheater, gets it back straight away. Julio Walker just patrolling the edge of that centre circle. Pogatetz is inside the City half. And Downing back for Julio Walker again. Borough playing City at their own game here, just playing it around inside their own half, and very patient in the build-up as the time runs down at the end of the first half. Afonso Alves, scorer of the Borough second, to Luke Young. Now George Boateng onto Tunjai in the box. So if he could have controlled it, or either seen that, or Stuart Downing in acres of space, that would have been the end of a superb move.
Well, you know what Tunjai was wanting to do there, Paul? He was wanting to dummy the ball into the path of Stewie Downing because he knew he was in behind him, but the amount of pace on the ball down that right-hand side wasn't strong enough, so that's why he attempted to take a touch and got caught in two minds.
Stuart Downing then, left-hand side. Tunjai in the penalty area. Tunjai shot. Alves, George Boateng! Oh, it's gone wide. It's been saved by the keeper. Incredible save. George Boateng should have had Borough's third, but it was a marvellous save. I'm going to have 2 minutes of added on time.
It's an unbelievable save, isn't it? Stewie Downing getting the ball from Julio Arca, picks out Tunjai through the eyes as well. Tunjai shot with his left foot, took a deflection, fell to George Boateng, totally unmarked. What was he, 5-6 yards out, took a touch, time to take a touch, hit it right-footed with pace. What a save.
Left hand of Isaacson. Rockenbach takes the corner, Riggett's header. Oh, scored last week against Portsmouth, narrowly wide there from the Rockenbach corner. Let's go down to pitch side, and here's Mark.
Where everyone is just applauding Andreas Isaacson. Rarely will you see a better save than that. That's best I've seen here all season. Absolutely fantastic save. Manchester City, you know, sometimes when you see Gary Megson, say, someone like that who's out there effing and jeffing at his players all the way through, and he's kicking every ball and he's sweating, he's heading it, they might as well have the deck chairs out and the sun cream and the floppy hats on the Manchester City bench. We're getting sacked, we're not bothered, off you go, do what you like. This could be, if Borough wanted to be, this really could be a massacre now, because City have gone. You can just see it in their eyes.
I'll tell you what, it would be great, wouldn't it, to end the season and look forward to August and all the plans that Gareth Southgate wants to execute during the summer. If they could absolutely hammer Manchester City out of sight this afternoon.
I think it's really important. I think that's what Gareth was saying before the game, to finish the season on a high. We tried to do that against Bolton and Sunderland, and it was a shame that we didn't get anything from those matches, but you know, we beat Portsmouth last week. It'd been really nice to keep a clean sheet again today and batter these, because it's there to be done, and finish the season on a high, get spirits high, looking forward to next season, and hopefully in August the weather's better.
Tunjai gets the better of Michael Ball down the right-hand side. Stephen Ireland getting back to defend, but still with Tunjai right-hand edge of the penalty area into George Boateng. Could have left it go, but he wasn't aware of that, and his touch takes it behind for a goal kick to City.
That was a good break, but the wrong option from Tunjai in the end. I actually don't think that ball was intended for George, and if it was a terrible pass, because there's no way he could have brought the ball down. I think the ball might have been intended further afield for maybe Stewie Downing or Alves. Stewie again arrived into the box totally unmarked, and he found himself in really good positions this afternoon, Stewie Downing.
Goal kick then taken right-footed, and Phil Dowd blows his whistle for the end of the first half. Highly satisfactory from a Borough point of view. Phil Dowd's whistle blows then, and we're underway in the second half with Chris Riggett in possession, and he goes back to Mark Schwarzer in the Borough goal. Schwarzer just comes out as he attempts to get the best distance possible on his clearance. Right-footed, it goes into that Manchester City half, headed out from the back by Michael Ball. Vassell is milling around, but the ball is back with Chris Riggett again. And to Luke Young on the right-hand side, one of two Borough players booked in the first half, the other being Emmanuel Pogatetz, who's on the ball now. Pogatetz left-hand side, up for Alves, got his back to goal, he's looking for the run of Stuart Downing, but he went the other way instead, got a bit lucky and got the ball back from Stephen Ireland. Now Rockenbach again. Rockenbach chips over the top, whereas Stuart Downing's offside.
Hey, what skill though, eh? I think Stewie was just offside. The linesman far side, his flag went up straight away, but great bit of skill to control the ball, wriggle away from a defender and just clip that outside that right foot of his into the path of Stewie Downing, just offside, but great skills.
So free kick to Manchester City. The mist doesn't show any signs of getting any lighter or lifting here. Free kick is taken, it's headed away by Pogatetz, picked up by Ireland. Joe Luca at the back for City. Sun Ji Hai gets in a muddle. And Rockenbach almost spent Tunjai down that left-hand side. Free kick, rather throw-in. Right-hand side. Sun Ji-hai to take it. Vassell flicks on. There's Wheater. I understand Chelsea's match is running very late at Stamford Bridge, which Sir Alex Ferguson probably won't be happy about. Here's George Boateng into Julio Arca. Chelsea 0, Bolton 0 at the moment. And Wigan 0, Manchester United 1. Important scores at the top. Pogatetz is fouled. Left-hand side by Castillo, and it'll be a Borough free kick.
Yeah, it was definitely a little trip. I think when the ball came to Emmanuel Pogatetz, he couldn't get the ball out from under his feet. His first touch wasn't great, and then eventually he did get the ball under control, and Castillo, more an attacking-minded player, you could see that in the challenge. It was definitely a free kick. Very quiet start the second half, isn't it? I think a lot of the fans have enjoyed the interval probably a bit too much, just making their way back to the seats.
Extremely low-key start. They've had 3 minutes. Riggott towards David Wheater, who's still up there from that free kick. George Boateng settles for a throw-in on the right-hand side, which he takes himself into Julio Arca. Arca with a good ball out to the left. Stuart Downing into the penalty area. Felt he was blocked off by Sun Ji-hai, and he was right on the edge of that penalty area.
Well, he's very determined when he got the ball there, Stewie Downing, to drop his shoulder and go down the line, and I'm not so sure it was a free kick, I'll be honest with you, because I think Sun Ji-hai did really quite well there to read Stewie Downing's intention, but the referee gave that one to us. It's a really good position with Fabio Rockenbach on it. It could have been a penalty actually, Paul, a couple of inches the other way, because it's right on the line. Fabio's on it. All the big guns have gone forward, and why not? Because this is a good position for Fabio to whip a ball in.
How much do you want to bet that if it was inside the penalty area, it wouldn't have been a penalty?
No, it wouldn't have been given. I'd actually, like I said, I don't think it was a free kick really, but there we go.
Free kick, Rockenbach to take it. I think he's going to have a shot. He is! Saved by Isaacson, up in the air. Danger is not clear, but it is now because he's caught it.
He did well there, Isaacson, because as that ball came in, and it was fiercely struck there from Fabio Rockenbach, Alves shot across the goalkeeper, shot across his line of vision, doing his best to put him off or try and get a slightest kind of a nick on the ball himself to try and redirect past the goalkeeper, and that must have had an effect on Isaacson, but he did well to keep his eye on the ball, get a little bit of a punch on it, and then come out the second time to collect.
It's Everton 1, Newcastle 1. Michael Owen with a penalty equaliser for Newcastle, and it is a Birmingham 1, Blackburn 1. Birmingham hearts sinking a little bit there. Morten Gamst Pedersen with the equaliser for Blackburn. Manchester City have a free kick on the right-hand side. Martin Petrov is on this one. City have plenty of men forward, left-footed into the box, headed out by Stuart Downing, back there defending. Tunjai onto George Boateng. Boateng can get the better of his man and maybe get Borough on the break here with Arca. Centre circle. Arca plays it to Downing, and Downing just couldn't locate where the ball was for a sec there.
Well, Julio, he had options, didn't he? George Boateng playing that square ball into him. So much on in front of him. He's Tunjai again.
Borough on the attack once more, but he's lost it.
Yeah, he just lost out there. I think Tunjai, he should have put the ball out right to George Boateng, but there we go, he's a chance for Manchester City.
Castillo's in the box. Mark Schwartz has forced him a little wide. He's all on his own here. He's looking for Vassell. Vassell's header, and he's plonked his header wide.
Well, where do you start with that passage of play? Opportunities for us going forward, and then a long ball out of their half catches us offside because David Wheater goes with the run of the substitute Neri Castillo. Our line was again confused because I think Emmanuel Pogatetz had his hand in the air looking for an offside. Fortunately, the angle for Castillo was too acute in the end. He's got to come back across the box, and he flighted a lovely little ball into the path of Darius Vassell. His diving header was a bit like a dying swan, and it went wide of the target. Plenty going on, Paul, after that flat start.
He had a bit of a Toblerone head there, didn't he, Vassell?
Yep, biscuits in head.
Here's Vito clears. Let's go down the pitch side. Here's Mark.
He was a mile offside. Gareth Southgate just said to Mo Matadar, the linesman, he said, he was that far off, you must have missed him. What a bizarre decision. I prefer the term Tifa-led, by the way, for Darius Vassell there. Interestingly, half-time, Micah Richards, injured at the moment, comes out and says, where can I get a pie? That sums up Manchester City this afternoon.
Other kettles and electrical goods and Swiss chocolates are available, of course. Here's a throw into Manchester City, left-hand side. And it's still 2-0. And the second half's been a bit weird. It hasn't quite got into gear, and yet there've been a few opportunities at either end. Here's Fernandez towards the left-hand side. And that's Petrov to Sun Ji-hai. Very strange ball, but Sun Ji-hai won the header, but it's straight back to Schwarzer via Riggett.
Yeah, Mark mentioned Micah Richards. They've missed him, Paul, haven't they? He's some player as a right back or a centre half. Fantastic player, fantastic prospect for England, and he's been a big loss to them while he's been injured. He really has a real threat. The set pieces in the other end of the football pitch as well.
I think that's about the first time seen Sven on his feet, haven't we? He's in the edge of the technical area.
No, he's getting a bit cold.
Michael Ball up to the chest of Vassell, and Petrov out to the right-hand side. Castillo again had that little run earlier that set Borough hearts fluttering a bit. Ball then is cut out by Fabio Rockenbach. Now Stuart Downing plays a 1-2 with Rockenbach, and again Downing along the left-hand side. Tunjai getting into the centre. Rockenbach into the penalty area. It's all a bit tight. Alves is there. And Fabio Rockenbach, he just jogs around, doesn't he? And if he gets the ball anywhere near him, then fine. He'll create a bit of magic or embarrass himself. But he's like trots around in circles. Here's Boateng. Boateng over the top. Alves chests to Tunjai. And now the left, Stuart Downing again. Downing's got space here, but he manages to hit Sun Ji-hai's backside with his cross. And yet again, Sun Ji-hai blocks him off, free kick, and he's going to be booked.
Well, I didn't think the first one a couple of minutes ago was a free kick, Paul. I thought it was a little bit unfair on the defender, but that was absolutely blatant, wasn't it? And watching that, you turn on and say that defender does not relish the prospect of Stewie Downing running at him. He made no attempt to do any defending. He just thought, listen, this guy, he's just going to embarrass me. I'll just foul him. I'll just be cynical. I'll just give him a free kick and save my skin a little bit. Now, he's another great opposition, isn't he? You got Fabio Rockenbach on the ball. Intent, I would assume, at just whipping this in with his right foot towards that back post, looking to score himself direct, perhaps, or more likely looking to get our players getting across the line of the ball and getting a touch of it.
Rockenbach puts it into the penalty area. Picked out where all the Borough players had run from. Pogatetz picks it up on the left-hand side. Still Borough 2-0 up here on Manchester City. Riggett heads back into the area to Wheater. Wheater, great skill, David Wheater. Great save again. Wheater again. Ball is loose in the penalty area, and eventually Isaacson smothers it.
Well, Fernandez did well defensively. Isaacson did well defensively. David Wheater, great feat when he picked the ball up, Paul. If he goes down from that challenge from Michael Ball, it's a penalty. And I think the referee was looking to give him the penalty, but maybe a bit too honest for his own good. Stays on his feet, gets his shot off. After that, you've got to say good defending from their point of view.
Absolutely fantastic close control and skill from Wheater, though, in the box. And we know he fancies himself as a bit of a striker as well. Brilliant stuff. And not so from George Boateng, who plays it out into touch for a Manchester City throw-in. Borough 2, Manchester City 0. 10 minutes gone in this second half at the Riverside Stadium. Run down the other scores and situation in a second. David Wheater heads out from the back towards Alves, is beaten to it by Chorluka. Now Stephen Ireland, been quiet this afternoon. Fernandez up to Vassell. 10-man Manchester City keeping possession of the ball for a little while. Ireland to the left, and Petrov returns it down the left-hand side. Decent move, but it all breaks down the edge of the Borough box.
You know what, Paul, to be fair to them, they still pass the ball really, really well. Stephen Ireland does ever so well when he gets a hold of the ball, and Martin Petrov links up well with him. Castillo, the substitute's not bad, it's seemingly to me, and it all adds to it being an open game.
Alves for the Borough. Finds George Boateng on that right-hand side. Boateng in field. Julio Arca's there. Arca with the ball up towards Stuart Downing. He just slipped in the penalty area, but he was offside. The linesman, again, late with a flag, which is the rule, but it annoys the crowd, and everybody gets confused. Anyway, it's free kick to City.
I think it was really, really late, though, Paul. That flag came up after Stewie had taken a touch of the ball, and it was almost like the linesman didn't expect him to get on the end of it, so he wouldn't have bothered, and then reacted after Stewie got a touch, and it looked as if that the Manchester City defence might find themselves in a few problems. Great knock, wasn't it? Julio Arca from that central area with that left foot of his, pinged out there to Stewie, and a really clever run from Stuart Downing.
David Wheater, left-footed, up and under. Headed forward by Downing towards Tunjai. Lucas across, that'll be a Borough corner. First corner of the second half.
Well, Stewie Downing winning the header there against Sun Ji Hai. Just releasing Tunjai, ever willing to do that stuff. Tunjai, unselfish running. Tried to flick the ball inside of Luca. Tried to nutmeg him actually and get it on his right foot and look to finish, but the defender did okay, kept his legs shut and managed to put the ball out for the corner kick, so it's a good option for us.
7 corners to Manchester City's none. Stuart Downing from this left-hand side is going to swing this one in. Went wide, and Riggott had to manage to get a right foot on and just hook it somewhere near a Borough player, and that player is Fabio Rockenbach. And now George Boateng, left-footed cross into the box, good cross as well. Downing! Oh, what a stunning goal from Stuart Downing! Gareth Southgate wanted him to score 2 this afternoon, and Stewie Downing has responded with a brace, and what a fantastic volley! And hey, what about this? Borough have scored 3 goals in a match! Would you believe it?
Hey, that's brilliant. Really, just leave it at that, Paul. That's just brilliant. First of all, George Boateng down the right-hand side, whipping the thing in with his left foot. It was a peach of a ball. I think Alves got a touch on it, which stopped the defenders getting any distance on any attempted clearance. The ball hung in the air for ages. Stewie Downing had one thing on his mind and one thing only, to keep his eyes on that ball, wait for it to drop so he can finish, hit through the ball but through the outside of his left foot so it bends in at the back post. And hey, that's easy to say, Paul. He's just done it. That's magnificent, and that sums up Stewie Downing this season. Well done to him.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Standout Borough player of the season. He started every game in the Premier League, and he's now got 10 goals for the season. 3 goals in a match.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Everyone's going to go home delighted. Hey, so easy to snatch that, Paul. So easy to take your eye off the ball when the defender's charging out trying to put you off. So easy to do all that, but the composure and the concentration and the focus and then the technique to be able to finish like that, that is special.
Sun Ji Hai robbed by Stuart Downing. Tunjai almost played in. Alves might still happen. Alves is onside. Are we going to see 4? Afonso Alves, we are! Yes, we are! The ball just creeps over the line, similar to the Sunderland goal, and Afonso Alves scored. Hey, these Borough goals are like London buses. You wait all season and hardly any come along. And now on the last day of the season, we've got 4. 2 for Stuart Downing and 2 for Afonso Alves. It's 4-0.
Great little knock, Julio Arca, after a bit of unbelievable play before that. Alves 1v1 with Isaacson. To be fair to the goalkeeper, he's done ever so well to get a save. The ball's trickling goalwards. It's a great little finish from Alves as well. A proper goal scorer's finish again. The ball's trickling goalwards. Fernandes coming back, I think, trying his best to hook the ball out before he crosses the line, but couldn't do that. Instead slides into the back of the net with the ball. What a finish to the season, Paul. Hasn't it been this so far?
We predicted that there'd be goals this afternoon, possibly. And we're going to have loads of changes shortly. I've got some important goals to tell you about. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2. Gareth Barry. And now if Newcastle can get a goal to beat Everton, then Villa would nick that UEFA Cup spot, I reckon. And it's Derby 0, Reading 2. Dave Kitson for Reading, which means that it all stays the same there. Reading would survive at the expense of Fulham and Birmingham. Here's Sun Ji Hai. 4-0 to the Borough here. We've still got just under half an hour to play. Sun Ji Hai down the right-hand side, and great defending from Pogatetz as a goal kick. Now let's get the changes, Mark.
There's the the cheer for Afonso Alves as the ball goes up for Manchester City. First of all, it's going to be like bingo, this, all the numbers going up. Dietmar Hamann is coming on for Darius Vassell. That tells you something, doesn't it? They're trying to shore it up and hold on to a 4-0 defeat. My word. Two changes for the Borough. Ali Adair and Johnson are coming on shortly. First of those changes will be Adam Johnson for Julio Arca. I think Julio's been struggling a little bit. Good round of applause for Arca, but he's been holding his hamstring, his left hamstring. I think he's been struggling a little bit, so that's a precautionary change. Adam Johnson to replace him, and Jeremy Ali Adair will replace Tunjai. So it's going to be Tunjai and Alves up front. Just a word on Stuart Downing. When he got his second, fulfilling the prediction of his manager, great round of applause for Tunjai. When he got his second, he ran over to Gareth Southgate and he went, 15? I'll go for 15. Confidence from Stuart Downing.
4-0 to the Borough then as they make the changes here this afternoon. What a final afternoon.
Well, I think that's good for the manager to make the changes, Gareth. Allow Tunjai to get the kind of ovation he deserves because he's been excellent this season. Great opportunity for Adam Johnson to see a little bit of first team action before the summer break. That's good. Just a bit of discussion alongside of me here, Paul, regarding the fourth goal. I hope they don't give it as an own goal to Fernandes, even though the ball hadn't crossed the line before he get the final touch. I think that'd be very harsh on Alves.
Yeah, it would. Absolutely right.
But Adam the talk Johnson, is he might get that.
Adam Johnson to Fabio Rockenbach. It's been credited to Alves for the moment. We'll argue about that later on. Rockenbach to Luke Young down there on the right-hand side. Rockenbach again. Pogatetz. Pogatetz with a first-time layoff for George Boateng has now come into the centre, of course, because Adam Johnson's gone to that right-hand side. Fantastic atmosphere here at the Riverside. Fantastic afternoon. Free kick to the Borough. Right-hand side. Foul on Adam Johnson by Dietmar Hamann. And other scores: Birmingham 1, Blackburn 1, Chelsea 0, Bolton 0, Derby 0, Reading 2, Everton 1, Newcastle 1, 0-0 Portsmouth Fulham, Sunderland 0, Arsenal 1, Spurs 0, Liverpool 0, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2, and Wigan 0, Manchester United 1. United the champions as things stand. Derby, Fulham, Birmingham down. Everton the UEFA Cup spot. Rockenbach's free kick to the edge of the box. Adam Johnson nods it forward. The ball is in the back of the net, but the flag is up. Chris Riggott again, the same as last week, but the offside flag up early on.
It was a great finish, wasn't it? Great little knock, a little touch from Adam Johnson. Not so sure Chris Riggott was offside, you know. We'll see a replay shortly. Not so sure he was. Might have been somebody else, Jeremy Ali Adair, drifting into an offside position. But it was a great finish from Riggs, obviously top of his game. That spell at Stoke's done him the world of good. He's come back here and looked at an absolute world beater. But look at Manchester City now, Paul. They're playing with Martin Petrov up front by himself. They're obviously down to 10 men. Dietmar Hammond's just kicked lumps out of Adam Johnson down the right-hand flank there because he's obviously very frustrated. Now, looking at this, you can see that if there was any doubt about Sven getting the bullet, I think it's been put to rest, hasn't it? Because it's a sorry state for them out there right now.
It is. Wheater. Pogatetz. They might as well have Michael Ball, the music hall star, playing at the back as well. Here's Chris Riggott. Riggott to Young. Borough 4, Manchester City 0. And what a final day. Fabio Rockenbach. Riggott. Great atmosphere bit. I mean, the Borough fans are in fine voice, as you would expect, but the Manchester City fans are still enjoying their afternoon as well. Stuart Downing chases down a lost cause there as Sun Ji-hai just sees it over the line. Manchester City throw-in right near the corner flag in their own half of the field.
First half we were on about when it was 2-0, we were saying, I wonder if we can get 3 today, let's be greedy, right? And we've had our wishes and got 3, and now we've got 4, and now let's be even greedier. How about Stewie or Alves to get a hat-trick each? Or one of them. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. 6 would be good. 3 each, 6. That has a nice ring to it. Sun Ji-hai, Petrov, centre circle, Dietmar Hamann. Sun Ji-hai again, Casti on the right-hand side. Of course, this victory for Borough, coupled with Wigan's defeat against Manchester United, as things stand, would mean Borough moved up. And that's the difference between... they could finish as high as 13th, 5.76 million in prize money, and as low as 16th, 3.6 million. So 2 million quid's difference. Ali Adier on the right-hand side, Derby 0, Reading 3, Kevin Doyle. Rockenbach into the box, Adam Johnson, Johnson trying to work it, Downing shoots and shoots over the top this time.
Good play again, wasn't it? Adam Johnson, he had the opportunity, you sensed or you felt, to unleash himself, but there was a lot of bodies in front of him. Instead, unselfishly, and good awareness as well, picking out Stewie Downing. He just leaned back a little bit, didn't he, as he struck the ball, Stewie, and that's why it went over the top. I think Isaacson might have touched the ball. It should have been a corner kick, but the strike from Stewie wasn't the one he was after. That's what allowed the goalkeeper to make the save.
Chelsea 1, Bolton 0. Andrei Shevchenko, squeaky bum time for Manchester United fans who are still leading at Wigan. So Shevchenko has scored. Chelsea 1, Bolton 0. And Kevin Doyle with that, Reading third. Pogatetz gets it back from Stuart Downing. And to Boateng across the halfway line for Luke Young. 23 minutes gone in the second half at the Riverside. Adam Johnson running at the Manchester City defence, and Michael Ball makes the tackle. He gives it away to George Boateng. Rockenbach makes a hash of his crossfield ball. Sun Ji-hai heads clear, but there's Afonso Alves to collect possession again for the Borough. Inside their own half with Wheater and Boateng. And now Rockenbach for Luke Young. Ali Adier. Ali Adier to Johnson. Borough playing the ball about really well here. Rockenbach gets it again. Plays it back to Boateng. Now Pogatetz on the left-hand side, midway inside the Manchester City half. Boateng to Alves, back to George Boateng again. Boateng's got Stuart Downing on this left-hand side. Loads of Borough possession here. Alves to Chris Riggett's the only outfield player inside his own half. Riggett for Luke Young. As the crowd begin to cheer every completed pass again. It's
demoralising, Paul, when you're the opposition and you're down to 10 men, you're getting tonked 4-0 and the home side are just passing the ball around like this as if it's a practice match. It's absolutely demoralising. Eventually, someone, as I said in the first half, sleeps in, or somebody cracks and commits a foul or something, or Fabio gives the ball away. That's just happened there.
Borough have got it back. Adam Johnson, left-footed shot, deflected and in! It's number 5, Adam Johnson. The deflection, wrong-footed Isaacson in a City goal. Goal number 5 of the afternoon. It's turning into a right old rout.
Well, good for him. Good for Adam Johnson. He hasn't seen much first-team action since he came back from Watford and did really well. He's had an effect on this match since he came on. A massive slice of good fortune there with the shot from outside the box, because it would have been a straightforward save for Isaacson. Michael Ball has redirected it past the hapless keeper into the back of the net. But I think we all thought we had a chance of winning this game today, Paul, because we'd beaten Portsmouth last week and the feelings around the place were good going into the match. But I don't think anybody was expecting 5.
With still 20 minutes left. Here's Mark with news of a substitution.
Yeah, this is, what is it, Stable Doors, Horses, Grand National, all the rest of it. Alano's on. What difference can he make, poor bloke? He's on for Martin Petrov, who looks sick as a chip.
And here comes City forward with Castillo going it all alone and eventually being crowded out. Pogatetz. So Adam Johnson's first goal of the season for Borough. And he might get that taken off him as well, let's hope not. Riggett tidying up at the back. BBC T.
I don't think he will, because, well, he shouldn't anyway. I mean, Alves definitely shouldn't get his taken off him, but that shot was on target, was it not? Or would have been on target?
Offside flag up against Jeremy Ali Adier again.
Yeah, like I said, Adam Johnson's shot would have been on target. The keeper would have had to make a save, so that would be really harsh, as it would be to take it off Alves. Lovely little run again there, wasn't it, from Ali Adier. Just drifting offside, not by much, just television cameras panning in on Sven-Göran Eriksson. His features rarely give anything away, and that's the case here. He looks just rather passive and pensive, but he'd be gutted, Paul. He'd be gutted deep down.
Yeah, poor old Sven. He's had a rough time of it, hasn't he, with Taksin Shinawatra and all that, and the pantomime of losing his job after doing so well. And this afternoon, what a nightmare. Voronin scored for Liverpool, so they're 1-0 up at Spurs. Spurs 0, Liverpool 1, 6th goal of the season for Voronin there. Dietmar Hamann for Manchester City, himself a former Liverpool player. Stephen Ireland to Fernandes. City just look absolutely dead and buried, which they are, of course. Here's Elano, scored twice in the reverse fixture at Eastlands earlier in the season, which City won 3-1. Hamann again, stringing a few passes together, 10-man City, until the ball is given away badly. Pogatetz to Stuart Downing. Downing just turns inside Castillo and back to Pogatetz again. 28 minutes gone in the second half. Rockenbach, long ball out to the left, controlled brilliantly by Alves. Alves for Downing, and then Pogatetz comes forward. Rockenbach to Pogatetz again. Cameron Jerome's put Birmingham ahead again. They lead Blackburn 2-1, but it's not good enough for them.
Paul, you've got to smile, you've got to laugh, because the Man City fans are shouting 5-0, but we still love Sven.
Here's Elano again, one of the City substitutes. Borough 5, City 0, Fernandes. Borough need to keep a clean sheet this afternoon. That will be the icing on the cake, really. Good defending done by David Wheater there. Rockenbach. We're going to bring on Tony McMahon very shortly. He's just down there getting ready. Alves. Ooh. Good defending there by Luca. Or Alves might have been in for hat-trick. Elano in and around the halfway line. Gareth Southgate's giving instruction to Tony McMahon. And we think Fulham have scored. Fulham have scored at Portsmouth, which changes everything. It means Reading, despite losing, winning 3-0 at Derby, will go down. Well,
you said it earlier in the commentary, Paul, on about other games and the twists and turns. Well, there's one for you. Be nice for them to stay up, I really feel that.
Roy Hodgson, terrific hair. He's done a terrific job. Can he cap it off this afternoon?
Terrific voice as well. Sounds like an East End gangster.
Danny Murphy has scored the goal that could keep them in the Premier League. We're on the attack looking for number 6. I don't say that very often. A cross comes in and it's over the top and out.
But it sounds good.
In my 335 matches thus far, this being the last one, that is not a sentence you'll hear very often. Anyway, here's the Borough change. Mark.
And it's a nice touch, isn't it, from the Borough manager. Luke Young, who's had, for me, an excellent season, is the man to make way. But replacing him, Tony McMahon, who hasn't played a game for 2 years here at the Borough. He's had a terrible time with injuries, and he's got a chance to get on and get a few minutes of game time right at the end of the season. And there's a good cheer. Well thought of, isn't he?
Yeah, McMahon's given a 1-year contract in the week, and he's had horrific injury problems, and let's hope that they're all behind him now. And a word for Luke Young as well, terrific season.
Well, I'll just repeat what Mark said. He's been fantastic. He's got that wonderful goal against Tottenham, against his old club. I remember, it seems a long time ago now, but defensively been very, very good. Loves to get forward. He's been a really good buy for us. Nice to see Tony McMahon on the pitch. He has had a terrible time through injury, or injuries, but a fully committed kind of footballer, and nice to see him back involved in the first team.
Spurs 0, Liverpool 2, Fernando Torres, goal number 33 of the season for him, and Everton 2, Newcastle 1, Jolyon Lescott, long ball forward towards Ali Adier, it's just too far ahead of him, so Everton back ahead against Newcastle, and so they'll finish 5th if the scores stay the same. Lescott is another man who's had a terrific season, during the course of which he made his England debut. Castillo to Ilano for Manchester City. Sun Ji Hai to Ilano again. City looking for a consolation as Ilano, left-footed, picks out a Borough fan in the crowd behind the goal there.
Well, this match can't finish quick enough for them, can it? For Manchester City, the season really can't finish quick enough for them. Ilano, first half of the season, popping up in that position, Paul, he scores. Now high and wide of the target. He's a terrific player, Ilano, make no mistake, but I think that shot there tells you a lot about the current climate at Manchester City, certainly today.
Goal kick, Mark Schwarzer takes it short. And out to Chris Riggott. Schwarzer gets it back. Now for David Wheater. Borough 5, Manchester City 0. You're not dreaming. BBC Tees, 95 FM, DAB digital radio. Here's Adam Johnson. Johnson to Alves again, left-hand side. Fabio Rockenbach involved in the play, as he has been all afternoon, after his early indiscretion when he booted Benjani for no good reason. He's been terrific, Fabio Rockenbach. And if this is the last we see of him, which is highly likely, then he'll leave us with good memories.
Certainly will. A few not so good memories as well, but today he's been... Well, hey, listen, we keep repeating ourselves about Fabio Rockenbach, Paul. He's capable of moments of the highest quality, and I'm looking today, especially that second goal, the skills lead up to Alves' first in this match, and, you know, capable of some terrible things on a football pitch. If you could become more consistent as a player, dear me, what a world beat you got on your hand.
Pogatetz to Fabio Rockenbach. Now Alves spreads the play out to Tony McMahon on that right-hand side, brings the ball down on his chest and beats George Boateng, who's in field of it. Rockenbach's available in that centre circle, turns 180 degrees and finds David Wheater. Wheater then to Pogatetz. That Danny Murphy goal came on 76 minutes, by the way, the goal that might keep Fulham up. Boateng to Alves, almost the edge of the area. George Boateng's going to get another bite at the cherry, and he's fouled by Stephen Ireland for a free kick.
Well, it's 35 yards out, and Alves has just shot straight across. Fabio's having a word with him. Might have a little battle on your hands here to see who gets a chance to finish this. Whoever it is going to have a go at goal.
Well, central position. This one, Borough 5 goals to the good on BBC Tees. 01642225511. If you want to talk to us after full time, we're here until 6. Then it's Les Gunn up from 6 on BBC Tees. We've got the second half of the season review to get through. They hear from Gareth Southgate as well, the Borough boss, his reaction to this. He won't know what to say, will he? 5-0. Phil Dowd measuring the 10 yards out. Fabio Rockenbach's on it. Afonso Alves has gone into the penalty area. Here's Rockenbach. Oh, he scored! Oh my word, that is absolutely fantastic! And if ever there was going to be an afternoon where Fabio Rockenbach was going to score one like that, it was going to be this afternoon. Quite simply, watch Match of the Day tonight, because that is the goal of the season.
Well, what a free kick. What a free kick. You couldn't actually walk up to the goal, Paul, and handle that ball, put that ball in your hand and place it in a better spot. He's hit it with such power and accuracy and pace that Isaacson, who's got across his goal, has got no chance of making the save. 35 yards out. It's an unbelievable finish. Now look at the goals he's scored today. He's had a hand in Alves's, which is, I think, it's a great goal, the second goal, because the build-up. But you've got the volley from Stewie, which is an absolute gem, and that free kick, which is definitely, as far as we're concerned, must be a contender for goal of the season. This from a player who allegedly, there's every chance we'd assume, is going to be leaving in the summer. It's unbelievable.
I can't believe it. I really can't. Borough have a throw-in. Left-hand side. Let's go down the pitch side. Here's Mark.
Hey, guess what? You're not the only one who can't believe it. There's a Borough bench full of people who can't believe it. They all just turned around and laughed at each other. And the crowd... Oh, there you go. There's Fabio spooning it up in the air. That's better. And just before he took the free kick, the whole river end of the ground booed him as well, because they wanted Alves to get his hat-trick. That's just Fabio Rockenbach. He's frankly ridiculous.
Oh, it's 6-0.
You know what? They weren't happy, the fans behind the goal, when he stepped up as well, Paul. We're laughing like Ellie, because this is actually quite surreal this afternoon.
Here's Adam Johnson. Johnson's cross into the box. Oh, Ali Adier was almost... Well, actually, he wasn't anywhere near it, to be fair, but the intention was right. It could have been 7.
You know what, Paul? I want us to stop now because I'm just starting to feel too sorry for Sven. He looks like he's all over the place, the poor thing. But, oh, dear me. What a strike that is from Fabio, isn't it? It's an unbelievable strike. What an afternoon he's had. I mean, he's battered Benjani after 3 minutes or whatever it was, and I thought, here we go. Fabio's going to finish the season on a low, and then turned out with some of the best football we've seen from him all season, culminating in probably the goal of the season as far as we're concerned.
And there's still just nearly 10 minutes left.
Like I said, I think we've done enough now. I feel sorry for him down there.
Rockenbach. Wheater. It's still, the score's the same elsewhere. Manchester United still lead Wigan 1-0 and Chelsea is still 1-0 up on Bolton. So it's United's title at the moment by goal difference alone. And they'll be followed in the table by Arsenal, Liverpool, of course. Last UEFA Cup place, Everton in for that. They lead 2-1 on Newcastle. And at the other end, Reading and Birmingham are both winning, but it's not good enough because Fulham are winning and Fulham would survive. Hey, I'll tell you what, Wigan 0, Manchester United 2. Ryan Giggs, rather fitting, isn't it, that Ryan Giggs has been around forever, scores United second, gives them a bit of breathing space at the JJB Stadium, and it looks like the title heading back there. The other end, shot into the crowd by Castillo, and that's probably the closest City have come in the second half.
It was a real chance, wasn't it? Again, that offside trap seemed to be beaten. Castillo making a good run. I think Manuel Pogatetz went with him, so maybe it was Pogatetz who played him on. He had the opportunity when he took his first touch, and I think Mark Schwarzer coming off his line slipped a little bit. He had the opportunity to finish early, Castillo, but instead took another touch and blazed it wide of the target.
Everton 3, Newcastle 1. Yakubu scored a penalty, second of the afternoon in terms of goals. Here's Rockenbach, Borough 6, Manchester City 0. Ali Adier along this left-hand side, infield to George Boateng. 7 minutes left. Downing into Rockenbach. Rockenbach for George Boateng. Boateng shot left-footed, couldn't get it out from underneath him. Tony McMahon went to volley that one and Rockenbach took over. Here's Stuart Downing again, into the box, onside Ali Adier, 7-0! And Jeremy Ali Adier's in on the act! A magnificent 7 for the Borough! And I tell you what, the expectation level ahead of next season is going up notch after notch after goal after goal. It's 7-0!
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm actually speechless now, Paul, because every time we go forward, you think we're going to score. And you know what? Every time we go forward, we're scoring. This is unbelievable. Lovely little ball from Stewie Downing. A touch from Ali Adier. A shot across Isaacson, in at the back post. Everything we're hitting's going in. They're actually they've been out on their feet at 2-0. And I just want to make sure everybody realises, just don't think this is because they're down to 10 men, Paul. Because at 1-0 and 10 men, they played some really good football. They were in this game. The second goal sort of killed them, but they still had a go. It's not just because they've been down to 10 men that we battered these 7-0. So make sure that our players get an awful lot of credit for this, because sometimes when you play 10 men, it can be actually quite difficult. Well, we've disproved that theory massively today.
Let's have a word from pitch side, Mark.
Well, I'd like to have a word with Sven-Göran Eriksson. He's out there, credit to him. He's out there in his technical area, stood there, watching on. He doesn't look angry. I think he knows there's no point being angry. He's just scratching his forehead. He's just confused as to what the fates have conspired to throw upon him this afternoon. A ridiculous afternoon in so many ways, and all the crowd are singing "Who are you" at him, the poor sod. It's just ridiculous for him. And all the Man City fans, by the way, credit to them. They've been celebrating the Borough goals as they're going. Sven retires to the bench, probably for the last time.
Manchester City have the ball. Chorluka back to Isaacson. He clears it. Ali Adier sliding in on him, and the ball goes into touch. Borough 7, Manchester City. I can't say it enough. Borough 7, Manchester City 0.
And after our goals for column, a bit of good, hasn't it? Before the game, Paul, I think we'd scored 35 in 37, and we all said that that was an area that has to improve next season if we're going to see any success. Well, it started today, hasn't it? Yes, Manchester City down to 10 men quite early, and the influential Richard Dunn leaves the park, but nobody would even at that stage would expect us to go on and be so clinical in front of goal.
Ilano for Manchester City. They're looking to get one back at least. Left-footed, they got one back as well. Terrific goal from Ilano, left-footed, and the Borough crowd are applauding as well as the Manchester City fans. Mark Schwarzer, not a prayer, is 7-1.
Brilliant finish from Ilano. Lovely footballer he is. Picked the ball up right outside the box. A jink, a finish with his left foot, like an arrow, into the back of the net. Mark Schwarzer, no chance, but it's very rare, Paul. You laugh and joke about the opposition scoring a goal, but I was actually laughing because the Middlesbrough fans shot to their feet and we're all applauding the finish as well. It's been that kind of afternoon, hasn't it?
It's been an incredible afternoon. Shame about a clean sheet, but can't complain, can you? 7 at the other end. And Borough on the attack again. Can they get 8? Stuart Downing. Ball with Dietmar Hamann, but City making heavy weather of clearing it. Michael Ball eventually does. Tony McMahon. Back heel from Downing. Excellent stuff into Ali Adier. Tried to get it back to him, but it's back with Isaacson in the Manchester City goal. 2 minutes of normal time left. It's Borough 7, Manchester City 1. Here's Pogatetz.
Well, there's a little bit of summer going on in the crowd down there, Paul. I hope the Man City fans don't spoil this, because it's been a lovely afternoon of football. Not really for them, but they've been really well-spirited despite the events on the football pitch. I hope it doesn't get spoilt this afternoon.
Yeah, it's involving the police at the front there. There's no Borough fans involved in it, and with some Manchester City fans leaping over the top tier to get into the bottom tier. We could do well without that. A Derby 0, Reading 4, Leroy Lita, but they're still going down. Unbelievable. The last afternoon of the Premier League, because Fulham are leading Portsmouth by a goal to 0 still. Let's head off down the pitch side, Mark.
I'm not sure what's going on down there. I think maybe some City fans are trying to get on the pitch, but it looks like the police and the stewards seem to have got it all under control again, and they're all dancing and singing. But it wasn't pretty there for a minute. Just waiting to see how much added time we're going to have. If Phil Dowd has any trace of human kindness about him, he won't bother, because Sven-Göran Eriksson does not need 3 minutes of added time. He's sending the message over now, so we will see very shortly. But isn't football ridiculous sometimes?
Here's Ali Adier, here's Alves, it's goal number 8! Afonso Alves has scored a hat-trick, his first in English football, and it's 8-1. That is 8, E-I-G-H-T, 1!
Well, absolutely remarkable stuff. Absolutely remarkable, Paul. Great little play from Stewie Downing, who took the ball off their defender way too easily, but hey, that's 7-1 with literally seconds left in the match. I suppose you could forgive their defender that. Just played a simple ball through to Ali Adier. Ali Adier, aware that Alves at the far post was completely unmarked, did the right thing. Rather than finish himself, he played the percentages, squares the ball to Alves. Ali Adier may score a goal, Paul, from that position, but Alves definitely does if he squares it. That's what he's done. That's 8-1. That's full time. I can't believe what I've seen this afternoon.